Hello everybody. Looks like we're live right now. I see somebody's watching. Sean Nillabud, how you guys doing? What's happening, man? Thank you for joining. Okay, I'm actually starting on time today. This is great. Because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. There have been a lot of, developments in the insane craziness that happened on January 6th, which I'm sure you're all aware. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've kind of been glued to the news, glued to Twitter, glued to social media, Reddit, stuff like that, just getting updates about all the crazy shit that's happening out there. Yeah, fucking Christ. Let's see, Sean Nillabud, I call it the people of Walmart treason. But I've heard them referred to as the gravy seals. Gravy seals. Yeah. Another one is Al-Qaeda. That's another one that I've heard. So yeah, this is some crazy shit. Okay, so where do we even fucking start, man? I don't know. All right, let me just get my notes here ready so that I can see what I'm doing, so that I can actually read. Okay, so let's start with an update of what has transpired. Because while this shit's happening, you get sporadic reports here and there, back and forth, and you don't really understand. You don't really know what's going on. It's like, lots of things fly, and that leaves open the possibility of misinformation, right? Because certain stories aren't verified or whatever, and it's so let's kind of go over a recap of what has come to light in the last couple of days here. Okay. So, 5 people died because of the results of this Failsurrection. That includes the woman who was shot in the chest and neck. I think she was shot in the neck. She's dead. Gone, right. I don't know if you've seen the video of that woman actually being shot, which is out there. They've even showed it on the news a couple times. And, yeah, she walked, I mean, I don't want to make a light of anybody's death or whatever, but there was a guard, an agent, right, who I would assume was either a police officer or maybe a, something like that, some kind of, security agent, right, and what it was is there was a bunch of people in front of a barricade, basically just smashing down the doors. And there were 2 or 3 police officers in front of it, and they get out of the way. They move, right? And you can hear the insurrectionists, right? Because I don't want to call them protesters, because at this point they're not protesters, right? They're basically fucking insurrectionists. Like, you can tell them trying to reason with the cops and saying, hey, I don't want to see you get hurt, right? So the police, who were completely outnumbered. I mean, there was like 3 of them, and in front of this huge ass fucking room of just filled to the brim with insurrectionists. They move out of the way, right? So then these people start battering down the fucking doors, and then somebody pulls out a gun on the other side of the door, right? And you can hear him say, gun, get back, right? So then these people don't fucking listen to that warning, and they keep battering the door, and this lady tries to basically climb through one of the windows, and she gets shot. Then everybody backs off, right? And one of the police officers who was there, who has a gun, points it at the other guy who shot, and I guess that was just a reaction, because he doesn't know who shot. When he found out it was another security person, police officer or whoever it was, then he lowers his gun, and it's like, you can just kind of see from that video. I didn't actually keep this video because I'm pretty sure you've all seen it, right? Yeah, you could just kind of see what the environment was like in there. You know, it was just utter fucking chaos. You know, you guys saw some of them on Dusty, Sean Nil, but I watched some of Dusty, hell of a show. Yeah, Dusty is awesome. I watch him whenever I have the time to. Another one that I watched David Pakman. You know, he had a really good breakdown of all this shit as it was happening, stuff like that. So that's a good one. Anyway, so yeah, that's some crazy shit. But 4 other people, actually no, 5 other people have died. So since then, 4 other people died in what they said were medical emergencies, right? Apparently one of those medical emergencies was a guy who was trying to rip off a painting, you know, who was basically looting the fucking Capitol building, tried to steal a painting and accidentally tased himself, gave himself a heart attack, right? So yeah, there goes a Darwin Award there for you. You know, it's hard to have sympathy for people when they're looting the capital of the country, right? You know, because I'm trying not to be an asshole here. I'm trying not to, like, make fun of people who are dead or anything like that, because these people have families, you know? And even though that their family, their relative is somebody who died trying to fucking destroy America, right? I'm pretty sure their families are still upset, and I don't want to make light of their deaths, but at the same time, it's like, you know, they fucking had it coming. And seriously, if you know, and here's the thing about it, right? If you accidentally kill yourself in the middle of committing a crime, how do you expect anybody to have any sympathy for you, right? That's what that guy did. He was in the process of committing a crime, a stupid crime, by the way. What the fuck is he going to do with it? It was a painting of Tip O'Neill that he was trying to steal, and he accidentally fucking tased himself. The fuck are you going to do with a painting of Tip O'Neill? Like, hang it up in your fucking bathroom? I mean, seriously, what's he going to do with it? What was his plan? Was he going to fucking, you know, I don't know, eBay it or something? You know? Like, take it outside, fucking burn it? Who even knows? But anyway, so he's stealing something, fucking kills himself by accident. I don't have a lot of sympathy for that. I'm sorry. Self-tased in the balls to death, seriously? The guy tased himself in his nuts? Wow. What a way to fucking go. Can you imagine that shit, you know? You're dead, you're up in heaven or whatever, and all the people are, like, describing about how they died, and, like, one guy's like, yeah, I got killed during a fucking, you know, World War II, and then another guy's like, yeah, man, fucking I got eaten by lions, and then it comes to your turn, and you're like, yeah, I tased myself in my balls while, you know, invading the Capitol building and stealing a picture of Tip O'Neill. Like, are you fucking seriously? Yeah, like, god damn. He's gonna live this shit down like never, you know. Exactly. Fear of dying, my only fear of dying, stupidly, that guy's a perfect example, yeah. Myself, personally, I'm not afraid of dying stupidly as long... If it was something that was really stupid, and, like, stupid enough that they, like, put it in books, then I wouldn't... And then I'd be fine with it. It's like, you know, if I died, like, doing something really fucking dumb, like, you know, roller skating backwards down a hill while I'm naked, and then I get hit by an ice cream truck or something, like, you know, then I would just be like, alright, well, fuck it, you know, at least I died how I lived, or... right? But anyway, not like this, though. Not like accidentally killing yourself while you're fucking ripping off a painting of a, you know, of a fucking senator who, like, lived 30 years ago and shit that nobody cares about anymore. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So, including in the people who died is also a police officer who died a couple of days later. And it was a guy, I didn't get his name. Apparently he was hit by a fire extinguisher. Right? Which, you know, and this dude was pretty young, this police officer who died, you know, he was not like some old dude who, you know, succumbed to his injuries or whatever, like, you know, he couldn't have been more than 35, right? So, that means that somebody hit his ass in the head pretty hard with a fire extinguisher and fucked him up, you know, so basically he was murdered. All right, let's keep that in mind. It's like, the way the news makes it sound, they make it sound like an accident. Police officer who died after an altercation with a fire extinguisher. What was he, fighting the fire extinguisher or something? Was he like trying to, like, did he tase the fire extinguisher and then exploded? No, somebody fucking hit him with a fire extinguisher, right? So he was murdered. Okay, so there you go. That's another death on the hands of these fucking insurrectionist assholes. That's some fucking crazy shit. So anyway, another 50 police officers were injured. Right. 50, you know. We don't know how many actual rioters were injured. I'm assuming hopefully some, because that at least would indicate that the police were fighting back, which it didn't really look like they were in all of the videos that we're seeing. It looks like they're just getting out of the way, standing out of the way, and all this other shit. We'll get to that in a little bit later, right? Despite all of this, only 26 people were actually arrested. Most of those not even for breaking into the Capitol, and most of them were outside people with illegal weapons charges. A cop would stop a guy, guy would have a fucking handgun that he didn't have a permit for or something. Right, whatever. I don't know what the open carry laws are like in Washington, D.C., but I imagine they're pretty strict, seeing how there's politicians and shit walking around there. So, yeah, why so little? How many people were at this thing, right? I haven't seen an estimate, but what I've read is that it wasn't that many people to begin with, right? It was maybe, around maybe 10,000, something like that. There wasn't 2 million people on the streets, during this entire thing, but, that's enough, right? I mean, to be honest, 1,000 people would have been enough to overrun it if there's no police there, right? So, why is it that there was, all of this shit happening, people invading the fucking Capitol and all this other crap? How come only fucking 26 people get arrested, right? Seems a little suspicious there. Seems almost like not only were the cops not ready, but, maybe some of them may have been a little sympathetic towards the cause of the insurrectionists here. And that only really makes sense. We'll come to that in a little bit. I've kind of got this a little organized here, so I want to stick to the script some. Sean, everyone is calling for them to all be thrown in prison, etc. What really you need is for cops to have the same attitude all over the U.S. Yes. Yes, we need to clean house a lot in this country. If anything, what this summer has shown us is that we have a serious problem in this country when it comes to policing. So, okay. Now, here's the thing about this, right? A lot of people are comparing this here, like, the right wing, the MAGA people, the conservatives now are kind of in panic mode from what I've seen over the last couple of days, from the different channels and subreddits and Twitter feeds and things that I monitor, right? They're kind of, they're going in two paths. To one side of it, people are doubling down, calling for revolution, threatening people, shit like that, saying it'll happen again and we'll be back on the 21st. That's another one, right? So people, they're planning on coming back for the inauguration and doing this all over again. So hopefully there'll be some extra fucking security there on the 21st in order to stop this shit from disrupting disrupting the fucking inauguration. The other branch is people who are just in denial. They're in denial about it. They're saying it's not as bad. They're trying to downplay it, right? They're trying to blame it on Antifa, saying all of this shit. Like, you saw that from Laura Ingraham and Tucker Carlson and all these guys, and even a couple of fucking senators stood up and said, like, there was this one senator that said facial recognition showed that these were Antifa infiltrators and all this other shit, right? Which is bullshit. But here's the thing, so people are comparing these. They're comparing all of this to what happened over this summer, the BLM protests over the summer that often turned violent, right? Let's be real, they often, for whatever reason, right? I personally believe a lot of those turned violent because the BLM protesters were attacked, right? And people like the Proud Boys share a lot of responsibility, right? But it's undeniable, though, to say that, we cannot deny the fact that over the summer there was a lot of rioting and looting, in places like New York, and even in like in New York, for example, even after the protests, even after the protests stopped, there would still continue to be looting, shit like that, right? So that's undeniable. So we cannot, it's disingenuous to try to downplay that. Okay. But people are comparing these two things, saying, oh, well, everybody, on the left, downplays it when BLM breaks out into a riot, but when the MAGA people do, suddenly it's the end of the country, blah, 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 right? Here's the difference, okay? These two are not the same thing. Booyah Amadam, how you doing? Thanks for joining. These two things, these are not the same thing, right? Number one, BLM was not in the process, not attempting to overthrow the United States government. Okay, that's the first thing, all right? This is where that shit, becomes undefensible, Like, here's the thing, you can protest, you can break the law when you protest, right? You're supposed to break the law when you protest, okay? But you do it in a peaceful manner, right? You don't assault people, you don't beat the crap out of people, you don't destroy things, but you break the law in a peaceful way, which disrupts the status quo, whether that's blocking traffic, whether that's, here's the thing, I'm not even adverse to occupying a building. I don't even think that's a bad thing. If you do it in a peaceful way, right? How do you occupy a building in a peaceful way? You walk in, right? On a day that's like, you walk in and in a large group, you sit down on the floor, you refuse to leave. That's what you do, right? What do these guys do? These guys didn't do any shit like that, Did they go and stand on the steps or whatever and then just like refuse to leave, something like that? No, they battered down the fucking doors, right? They smashed down the doors, they fucking looted shit. They broke into Nancy Pelosi's office with her fucking emails up, all that other stuff, right? They stole laptops, they stole fucking computers, right? Shit got looted. People's like phones and computers, paperwork, briefcases, shit like that got stolen. There's a picture on Reddit where they're in the Senate floor, the House chamber, and they're going through desks, and somebody found a desk full of candy. That's real shit. All right, and it sounds funny, right? Let me see. Let's see. It was Capitol candy desk. Let me see if I can find a picture of that. Right. Anybody have the here we go. The candy desk, right? Let me go ahead and turn on my monitor here. There we go. Somebody went through and they were like, they found a desk where all this fucking candy was. Right? Which is like, so, that's funny, right? But why are they even doing that? Why should they even be allowed, to like, but they shouldn't even be in there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the difference. That's the difference. BLM was not trying to overthrow the government, right? BLM is protesting in order to get, like, stop police brutality, right? And they do it in the way that you're supposed to do it. Yeah, block traffic, right? Fucking, occupy a building. Don't leave. Do a sit-in. Something like that. They do it, and that's the thing. BLM does it in a peaceful way, right? Now, all of the violence and stuff that happened over the summer was all basically fighting back against people like this. People like these fucking insurrectionists, Proud Boys and Patriot Prayer and all that. People, it's basically fighting back against people who would show up to fucking attack them, right? Let's be real. That's what the real violence came from, right? Because, you know, BLM and Antifa and stuff, they really weren't, you know, they really aren't violent when they're not attacked, right? They would do shit like hit people with fucking milkshakes. And you guys remember that? Remember the milkshakes thing, right? And all these rumors, and that I think the milkshakes thing really drove the right wing off the fucking rails. They couldn't handle that, right? All these lies and conspiracies went around saying that these milkshakes were filled with quick drying cement, that kind of thing, right? And just complete bullshit, when in real life it was all bullshit. You know, people like Andy No were saying, like, oh, spreading these lies, saying, oh yeah, these milkshakes have lime in them, you know, a quick lime, and they're gonna burn you and all this other crap. And it's like, get the fuck out of here, you asshole. And they couldn't handle it because it was basically a non-violent way of humiliating them. It's like getting a pie in the face, right? A non-violent way of humiliating them, and they weren't justified and then, you know, striking back violently, right? So in order to justify them turning around and beating the shit out of whoever hit them with a fucking milkshake, they had to make up this bullshit about how it was filled with fucking, you know what I'm saying? That really, and that's what BLM did. That's what Antifa did until they started getting shot and stabbed and assaulted at these protests, and that's when it escalated, and that's when it turned into big full-on brawls. But if you go on the right wing, if you go on, you know, if you go on Reddit, if you go on Parler, all this other shit, there's this narrative that, you know, there's this narrative being presented that over the summer BLM just burned down all the cities and nobody cared, and that they're violent and they'll fucking kill you, and that they murder people. But none of this shit that actually happened. BLM hasn't killed anybody, right? They haven't, like, there was like one guy, I think it was Michael Reynolds, that was the only person who ever actually shot someone on the BLM side, right? Like, you know, no one else, they haven't, like, kidnapped anyone and tied them to the back of a truck and, like, dragged them until their body fell apart, any shit like that, right? They didn't lynch anybody, they didn't, like, do any of this shit, they didn't stab anybody, you know? Can you say the same from the fucking MAGA people over this summer? You know, how many people have died? I can't even, you know, there was, I mean, Kyle Rittenhouse shot 2 people. Another 4 people stabbed about 2 weeks ago in D.C. Another guy shot, you know, in fucking Portland, right? There were 2 murders in Portland when the Chaz was going on that were attributed to fucking, you know, Proud Boy types going around fucking assaulting and murdering people. How many just straight up assaults from Proud Boys, from Patriot Prayer, from the 3%ers, some people like that over this summer, just straight up assaults that we have like absolute proof for, that we have video of, that we have like pictures, we have testimonials. Like, how many of those have there been? It's, you lose count, you know, you lose count. Like, I tried to keep track of it for a little while and I couldn't keep up. I'm wondering if there's somewhere out there a database of right-wing attacks that I could look up. I don't know if anybody knows anything. Please let me know if there's like a, you know, maybe the ACLU has something of, you know, reported right-wing assaults and attacks over this, you know, over the summer or something like that. That'd be great. That'd be a good resource. So yeah, it's not the same. You know, it's not the same at all. When people compare this to BLM, it's not the same. When people compare these guys to Antifa, it's not the same. BLM, Antifa are not trying to take over the fucking country. And they're also not, you know, politically beholden to one person. That's the other difference, right? These people are, you know, they're not even like doing this for the Republican Party. They're doing it for Donald Trump specifically, right? I don't know, if you saw the video of these people going and like berating and, you know, berating Lindsey Graham at the airport. Do you see that? Bunch of people like yelling at Lindsey Graham and threatening him and shit like that. And Lindsey Graham has these 2 security guards in front of him. And the guy's like, I'm not going to touch him. I'm not going to touch him. And then he just starts yelling. And it's like, yeah, you're not going to touch him because he has security guards there. If his guards weren't there, you guys would have fucking like jumped him. you know, and kicked his ass and probably done something worse, right? It's like, and how can you trust people now? Do you trust anybody to keep these guys at their words after what happened at the Capitol? You know, why do you think that this is going to be the only time? You know, there's already reports of this kind of spreading around, right? Of other protests around the country. From what I've seen, though, you know, none of those other protests have devolved into a fucking riot just yet, but who knows? I mean, shit. We'll see what happens in 2 weeks, right? So, yeah, man. This is some fucking crazy shit. Okay, and that's the thing to worry about. It's like, you know, what do you think would have happened, right? Like, because these people, the difference, right, is that, you know, this was not a peaceful protest, you know. This was not, they were not there to peaceably disrupt, right? I even would have supported that. If it was, if they went there to peaceably disrupt the, you know, counting of the fucking votes or whatever, through whatever method, you know, if that was their goal, to peaceably disrupt it, and they kept it peaceful, then I would not technically be able to be ideologically consistent and object to that, right? Because that's exactly the kind of thing that I advocate for. You know, peacefully disrupting the workings of government in order to, that's what protesting is all about, okay? These guys were not there to peaceably disrupt shit, right? They were there to violently disrupt things. That's why they come with guns, right? You don't go armed if your intent is to be peaceful. You don't go armed with a lethal weapon, right? If you're trying to peacefully demonstrate. Just having that weapon means your intention is not peaceful, all right? Why do people carry guns? They carry guns because there's a threat of violence, right? That's what it's all about. That's the whole reason why people, you know, open carry, right? You know, if you weren't threatening people, you'd conceal it. That's the thing, okay? Because people always like say shit like, "Oh yeah, I'm not, you know, I just have it on me for protection," right? No. If you didn't want to threaten people, if you didn't want that gun to be a threat to people, right? To imply that if you don't do what I tell you, I have the capability of killing you, right? If you didn't want to, you know, to pervade that message, then you would not have the gun out in the open, right? You would not open carry it. You'd conceal carry it. You know, you'd have it in your car, something like that, right? You'd put it under, you know, you get a concealed carry license depending on whatever state you live in. I don't even know. You know, I know California doesn't even have those, I think, right? That's what you would do. But no, people have it, you know, they open carry, you know, in the states that allow, states like Texas, you know, you open carry it. Why do you open carry it? Because you want people to see that gun, because then it's a threat. It means if you fuck with me, I'll kill you. That's what it means, right? So why would you bring that shit to a protest, right? If your intention is to be peaceful. No, that having a weapon, you know, like people that go to these things, they have long guns, you know, stuff like that, right? You know, rifles, I guess they call them long guns, right? You know, if your intention is just to be like, yeah, this is my peaceful protest, then that weapon doesn't fucking belong there, you know? And that's what they found at this place, man. They found a truck filled with rifles, you know, long guns, and fucking Molotov cocktails, right? Like a dozen of them. They've traced this back to a guy who came in from Alabama, apparently, right? They found pipe bombs at the DNC and the RNC, right? So, you know, fucking IED explosive devices, right? Apparently there was another one at the Library of Congress, right? 30 to 50 feral hogs could rush. Yeah, they might need to shoot those feral hogs, huh? Exactly. You know, so that's some scary shit. So, I mean, what were they gonna fucking blow up? What were those bombs for? Is that part of your peaceful fucking protest, man? You know? The crowd outside had a noose up. They wanted to hang, you know, and they were chanting that they should hang Mike Pence, right? They went there, so keep that in mind, that they had to evacuate the vice president, which apparently they never actually did evacuate him. They just moved him to a secure room inside the Capitol, apparently, but I don't know, I could be wrong about that. Think about that. These are the people that, Mike Pence is Donald Trump's vice president, right? They basically went there to kill Mike Pence because Mike Pence refused to steal the election for Donald Trump, all right? That's what's fucking happening here. That's how this is an insurrection. Because another thing I'm hearing is like, how can you call it an insurrection when Trump is president? This is how it's an insurrection. They went there to kill him because he wouldn't fucking break with the Constitution. He chose the Constitution over Donald Trump, and that's why they went there to fucking murder him. Right? This shit is insane. They were chanting it outside. Hang Mike Pence. Right? There's a fucking, I have a bunch of pictures. In fact, I gotta go get them. I forgot the pictures. All right. Back in 1 minute, you guys. I have my thumb drive with some pictures in it. All right, shit. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. One of these days I am going to do one of these streams where I am completely 100% prepared. And I don't have to leave the room in order to, test a connection or, get a thumb drive or, get my glasses or something. One of these days I'm going to do that. Alright, but I have pictures of this. I actually brought pictures of these things. So let me go into my thumb drive that I just plugged in just right now. Oh, wrong one. Let's see, where the hell is it? This is like my wife's old computer, so it's all funky and weird and I'm not used to it. There we go. USB drive E. Whoa, where are my pictures? Oh wait, hang on, they're loading. Ah, fuck. They're not on here. God damn it. I saved a shitload of pictures. You know what? I gotta go get them. Because I planned an entire segment over, showing you guys a bunch of, these pictures. And then I have, lots of pictures of, people tweeting and shit. Right? So, really sorry, guys. I gotta go do this or else it just fucks up my show. So give me 1 minute. No, cat, go away. Alright, folks. Thank you. About Sorry about that. That was embarrassing and unprofessional. Cat, get out of here. Come on, go. You know, I knew I forgot something. Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry, guys. I knew I forgot something. Anyway, I had a thumb drive with a bunch of photos on it that I wanted to show you guys. And I forgot to actually put them on the thumb drive. Because I am a genius and I always am prepared. So, let's see here. No, it's under this PC, then it's under USB thumb drive. Okay. This is, let's see, there was one here that I had a picture of the fucking, let's see, view. Let me just go to large icon, see if I can find it. Alright, this is some scary shit. So this is actually, we were talking about how they wanted to basically lynch Mike Pence, you know. And this is what, you know, here we go. This is what they had set up outside of the Capitol. Okay? This is like, so there's an actual, you know, okay, now they're not going to really hang Mike Pence, are they really? I don't know, but, you know, the threat is there. I mean, let's say, you know, let's say you went outside of the White House and you set up a fucking, like, pillory, right? Or a fucking hangman's noose, or a guillotine, or, like, you crucified, like, fucking, you know, an effigy of Donald Trump. Don't you think people would take that a little personally, right? And at what point does it stop becoming, you know, tasteless free speech, and when does it become an actual threat? Like, what, do you have to actually, like, build the fucking stocks in order to, like, you know, hang somebody? Right? Then do we get to take it seriously? Anyway, so that's some scary fucking shit. Another guy had plastic zip ties. Alright, let me see, I have a picture of that guy too. Right, which was, here we go, here's the plastic zip ties guy, right? The FBI is currently looking for this person. Right, so look at this guy, first off. First, he looks like he's a soldier, doesn't he? Doesn't he look like he looks like he's part of the fucking Brotherhood of Nod or something? I don't know, you ever play Command and Conquer? Great game if you ever get a chance to play Command and Conquer, it rules. He looks like a fucking terrorist, is what he looks like. You know, what's with this jacket with all of this shit in here? What are the bombs or something? Who fucking knows? Pepper spray, right? I like how he's right next to this, like, suburban soccer mom. Right? The MAGA terrorist movement takes all types, apparently. But these things are plastic zip tie handcuffs, is what they are, right? Chances are, you know what this guy looks like? He looks like a cop. That's what he fucking looks like. Okay, tactical gear, handcuff fucking, you know, handcuff fucking zip ties, little badge thing with a Punisher skull on it, right? You know, he's got another flag with a fucking AR-15 on it. Okay, see that thing? The guy looks like a cop to me. I wouldn't be surprised when they finally find out who this dude is, that they find out that he actually is a cop. But what's he planning on doing with these fucking zip ties? Right. Why does he have those things? You know, is that standard issue for when people, like, fucking, you know, standard issue for peaceful protesters? Right? No. I mean, you know, does BLM run around with plastic zip ties like that? No. The reason he had those is because he was looking for Congress people. He was looking for representatives in order to fucking capture with those things. Right? That's what he was planning. That's what this person was planning to do. That's why he was in there. He was in there to go capture representatives. Right? And what? Hold them hostage? Drag them outside and hang them at that fucking, you know, at those stocks out there? Right? You know, I mean, seriously, what was this guy's plan? You know, was he going to murder them? Right? We don't know. I hope the FBI finds this guy. I hope they find him. I saw online somebody tried doxed him apparently, but it turned out not to be him. So whoever this person is, I hope he fucks up. I hope he, tells the wrong person he was there or some shit, and the FBI fucking drags his ass in, because perfect fucking example of, there's your peaceful fucking MAGA protester. Right? That shit isn't scary. Yeah, this dude, I mean, I don't know. Fucking ridiculous, man. So, this guy right here, this famous guy with his fucking feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, they caught this guy, right? Because he was dumb enough to, like, brag about it to his friends and put it on social media. And apparently this dude owns a gun company, let me see, what was this guy's name? Let me see if I could find, did I write it down? I might have wrote it down. Whoever this guy, I can't remember exactly, but let's see. Here he is. His name is Richard Bingo Barnett. This dude right here. Leader of a pro-gun group in Gravette, Arkansas. So, yeah, the FBI is having a nice little time talking to this person right now. I wonder what he's going to say to them. Is he going to say that this was all just part of his peaceful protest? Right? I don't know. Something else that, real quick before we move on, and this is actually something that I didn't think about while this shit was going on, right? While these people were breaking in and all of this stuff was happening. Something that I didn't actually consider is the national security implications for this. Right? So think about what this, like that guy with his foot on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Apparently that dude went through Nancy Pelosi's emails. Okay? That's how quick all of this was, right? So all the Congress people, the representatives, they didn't have time to secure anything. They were like in the middle of working and shit out there on the fucking, floor or whatnot, debating, that kind of thing. And then suddenly the shit just hits a fan and they all get evacuated, right? So I don't know why Nancy Pelosi didn't lock her computer first, right? I don't know why she didn't lock her computer and turn the shit off before she left, but that guy, some fucking Yahoo from Arkansas, right, is able to break into her fucking office, start reading her emails and shit, right? What we're not thinking of is how bad of a security breach this actually was. So think about if these guys were able to break in, how many, if any, of those people may have been foreign agents, spies, right? I mean, this is basically the perfect opportunity for, say, a Russian spy, a North Korean spy, something like that. Somebody from Iran, whatever the many multiple enemies that our country has now, right? Perfect opportunity for one of them to break in and start stealing shit. Now remember, laptops are missing, okay? iPads are missing, cell phones are missing. All right. Lantern Light, thank you for joining. Lewis the Hedgehog, thank you for joining too, man. So what kind of information is on those devices? These are like representatives. They're on committees. They have access to fucking top secret information. Okay, they're on committees where they have to decide defense spending, shit like that, right? So they're on intelligence committees, right? Did any of that information get caught? Any of that information get compromised, right? That means that there's agents who are undercover in these other countries, right? Possibly in Russia or in North Korea, something like that. There's agents who are undercover with terrorist groups in the Middle East right now. Stuff like that, who have been compromised, because we don't know. We don't know how much of that information was on what laptop and who had it, and which one is gone now, right? This is another thing that is a serious fucking mess, you know, that the Biden administration is going to have to deal with, because Donald Trump and his administration isn't going to do jack shit for it in the next fucking 12 days, right? They're fucking like AOL, they're fucking AWOL right now. They're gone, right? Apparently Donald Trump is so like distressed after like getting his ass kicked off of Twitter, you know, and all of this stuff, that like, you know, he's basically, we don't have a president right now, right? We don't have a president who should be dealing with this very, very serious shit right now, right? They're going to have to do a major sweep of that building to try to find bugs, you know? Imagine, like, because it would be basically, you know, a failure if a foreign agent didn't manage to infiltrate that day, right? Think about that, you know? I wouldn't be surprised, just put it that way, that if during when all of this shit was happening, you know, some spy managed to break in, plant a device somewhere, download some emails, you know, and it wouldn't be that hard. It's not that hard to load a Trojan horse onto a computer, right? I mean, all it really is, you have a thumb drive, you go in, plug it into the fucking thing, drag drop, right? Drag drop, execute, bam, pull it out, you're out. You know, 5 minutes maximum, right? And this is just normal shit that normal hackers can do. I mean, who even fucking knows what kind of advanced hacking shit, you know, a foreign, like, you know, spy agency is capable of bringing to the table. We don't even know the kind of capabilities they have, right? They could have, you know, I mean, goddamn, they're going to have to go through that building and search it for fucking, like, listening devices now, cameras, right? They're going to have to go through everybody's fucking computer and basically just, like, erase the entire fucking thing, right? You know, I mean, yeah, well, okay, Sean, well, if anything actually sensitive went missing, they have actual proper spy types for that shit. See, we don't know. We don't know how much of it got missing because it was like this random fucking chaos. It could have been anything as much as like planting shit on someone's computer, putting in a listening devices, stealing one of the computers, you know? Like laptops and shit got stolen, they're gone. We don't know what was on those computers, and there has to be an audit of all of this stuff, right? You know, or it even could have been just somebody just jumping in, taking pictures of a screen for a little bit. Maybe they didn't leave anything behind. Maybe they just ran in and had like their phones, you know, and you know, went through Nancy Pelosi's emails and just took a bunch of pictures. Bam. That's it. You know, that's really, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's like a major national security breach right now. We don't even think about that stuff. That didn't even occur to me while this was going on. I didn't even think for, you know, it's like, holy fuck. Like, this is some really, really bad shit. You know, and yeah, okay, yeah, maybe like, you know, I'm on the left, right? So I'm supposed to be against the military-industrial complex. And yes, okay, I am, all right, generally. But, you know, I understand that our country has enemies, right? And even though my solutions to dealing with those enemies that I propose are peaceful, that doesn't mean that you just give them fucking access to all of your secrets willy-nilly. Right? Seriously. Even if, like, my stance is that we should not have a war with Iran, for example, that doesn't mean I'm going to just hand over whatever fucking intelligence we have on them. Fuck no. No. Right? I mean, I understand very well the need for clandestine operations when it comes to, you know, and whether it's just it's diplomatic cables. I mean, I don't know. There's all kinds of shit that could have gone wrong there. So that's something else we got to think about. They may have just severely fucked our country up in ways that will, you know, that may have fucked our country up in ways that we won't be able to deal with. Like, we won't even understand for years to come. I don't know. Hopefully not. You know, best case scenario, there weren't any foreign agents in the crowd that day. And hopefully it was just a bunch of fucking drunken hillbilly redneck assholes who invaded and just fucking broke a bunch of shit, stole a bunch of laptops, and they're just going around and like pawning them to get money for meth or whatever. Hopefully that's the, you know, extent of the damage, but we don't really know, right? I don't know. So, anyway, moving on a little bit, there's a little bit of the aftermath here. As we mentioned, because, it's been a couple of days. Shit has been moving, right? So what's the aftermath of this debacle, right? Well, Donald Trump has been permanently banned from Twitter. I guess that's a good thing, right? That's nice. Kind of makes me wonder, like, I guess that's what it takes for a president to get banned from Twitter is to actually, like, uh, we'll come back to your question, Sean. 77 million Trump tards in your country. What the fuck could China do? That would be worse than that. We'll come back to that question, Sean. That's awesome. That's a good point too, but it's also hilarious. But yeah, we'll come back to that. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's what it takes for a president to get banned off of social media is to try to take over the country in a coup. I wish that Twitter should have banned his ass after the election. After Donald Trump lost the election and refused to concede and started riling all these people up and continued to spread lies. Twitter was just like, they were like deleting his tweets, stuff like that. They should have banned him then, but at least finally somebody's taking this shit seriously a little bit. Apparently, Donald Trump getting banned from Twitter has just driven him over the edge, and he is, like, gone completely fucking bonkers because of that. CNN described it as him going ballistic after losing his Twitter privileges. Apparently, he then tried to tweet from the official presidential account. So he has the real Donald Trump account. That was the one that got banned. And there is the official presidential account, which is where, the president is supposed to be tweeting from. And Twitter just deleted all of those numbers. So they didn't ban that account. They just deleted all of those tweets. And that's driving him fucking crazy too. It's kind of disturbing and sad that we have to treat the president of the United States like a small child, by taking his toys away because he fucking is like abusing his toys, right? I don't know. Twitter should have banned his ass years ago. But anyway, he's finally gone there. He apparently was going to go over to Parler, but lo and behold, Google has removed Parler from the Play Store. So if you guys are not a Parler, if you haven't ever joined Parler, it's right-wing Twitter is what Parler is. And Google has delisted them because people on Parler are losing their minds over this shit too, and they keep threatening politicians, right? 1911, greater than all. Thank you for joining, man. It's been a while. Haven't seen it in a while. So yeah, Parler's gone also. So now Apple sent a letter to Parler also, basically saying, okay, you have 24 hours to give us a moderation plan, or else we're kicking you from the Apple Store, from the fucking iTunes Store or whatever it is they call it now, right? So yeah, this is some major reaction here, man. This has some people screaming about censorship, shit like that. It's not censorship, right? Because they're private companies. It's only censorship when the government censors you through an official way. That is censorship. When a private company decides not to do business with you, that is not censorship. That is that private company expressing their First Amendment right. They have a right because you being on their platform means that, it's an implicit endorsement of you. It means that Twitter is saying, by allowing you on their platform, Twitter is saying, we are allowing the type of speech that this guy is saying. You're allowed to come here and say things like this, right? And Twitter is basically saying, okay, you're not allowed to advocate for the overthrow of the United States, right? I don't know. It's still listed. I don't know. Maybe they changed their mind, but last I heard yesterday they were going to take it down. Well, I wouldn't call it censorship. I mean, okay, Sean Illibut, it's censorship though. Well, I wouldn't call it. It's not state censorship, right? I guess you could say it would call it corporate censorship or self censorship, something like that. But it's not the same. It's not the same as the state coming in and outlawing your speech, right? This is the same thing as basically, Milo Yiannopoulos off Twitter because he's a fucking pedophile. Right? Same kind of thing. It's basically saying we don't want to do business with this person. Right? And a private company has that right, You go into a store, no shoes, no shirt, no service. Right? Same fucking thing, right? No fucking, no advocating for the overthrow of the United States. No service. Same shit. So, this is, I think, a good thing, I don't think this is, because people are like screaming and yelling and saying, oh, this is like, tech companies fucking regulate, censoring and all this shit. No. They're self-regulating is what they're doing, right? By getting rid of Trump, by getting rid of Parler, they're basically saying we're not going to allow people to use our platforms for these nefarious deeds, right? To advocate for overthrowing countries, right? To threaten politicians and advocate murder, shit like that. That's what they're doing, right? And the thing is, if they would have stepped in earlier and enforced some of these types of moderation to begin with, maybe shit wouldn't have gotten this far. Maybe if they would have had a policy saying, hey, you're not allowed to advocate for the overthrow of the United States government in a violent manner, right? You're not allowed to advocate for the murder of elected politicians or something like that, or murder of anybody, right? You're not allowed to threaten people, because that's what got Parler busted. Is that I don't know if you've been on Parler lately, it's just one post after another of angry, insane MAGA chud screaming and hollering about how they're going to go down to Washington, D.C. and throw everybody's fucking head on a pike, right? I'm not joking. Go fucking, go read this shit, right? Now, if you owned that company, would you allow that kind of speech? If this was your company, would you allow that kind of speech? No. And the fact that Parler doesn't, okay, that's fine. Well, does that mean that every company out there should be forced to do business with them? Should Google be forced to do business with them? No, right? It's Google's right to choose, It's Google's right to choose who they do and do not want to have, do business with. The same way that it's Twitter's right to choose if they want to, do business with Alex Jones because he, is fucking harassing the victims of Sandy Hook or some shit like that. There's no difference, right? The same way that a venue, a concert venue, or a hall has a choice if they don't want to allow Milo Yiannopoulos to speak there. Same fucking thing, right? So, I'm seeing a lot of cool comments here. I will come back at the end of the stream and address all your comments. So anyway, that's one of the, a little bit of the aftermath after this is that the president got his favorite toy taken away, and apparently it's driving him like fucking bananas because he's a spoiled fucking child, right? Lots of other shit happened. The police chief in the Capitol, the chief of the Capitol Police has resigned. They have also vowed that anybody who was found to be complicit and cooperating with these insurrectionists is going to get fired. So there's going to be lots of investigations of all these videos. You've seen the videos of the cops getting out of the way, of cops opening barricades, stuff like that, taking selfies with people, all of that shit. A lot of those people are going to have some splaining to do, And I could see, in some instances, maybe they decided to move out of the way for whatever reason because they thought they were going to be overrun, something like that. I don't know. We'll see how well these excuses hold up. Because some of those don't look like they were in very dire straits at all. Looks like some of those cops just kind of stood aside maybe they were a little sympathetic towards these people. Maybe they were like Oath Keeper types or something like that. Looks like these guys we're gonna find out about all that. And if you need a job and you want a job in law enforcement, there's going to be some openings in Washington, D.C. So there you go, folks. Glad I could help you out. That's happening. The sergeant of arms of both of the House and the Senate have both been fired. Mitch McConnell personally fired the one in the Senate. Okay, which kind of goes to show, Mitch McConnell was not on board for any of these shenanigans in the first place. And now that he was personally threatened by this, he's gone all in, right? So Mitch McConnell is a despicable human being, and I'm glad that he's going to be the minority leader now, because fuck him. But, at the very least, he's not one of these fucking assholes. He's not a fucking insurrectionist, so good for him. He's still a piece of shit. Lots of people in the Trump administration have resigned. Elaine Chao, the transportation secretary, has resigned. She is also the wife of Mitch McConnell. Kind of hard to believe that crusted up, turtle-looking piece of shit actually is married and gets laid on a consistent basis. Yeah. Anyway, so she's gone. She resigned. The education secretary, Betsy DeVos, resigned, and good riddance, because fuck Betsy DeVos. She's a fucking nightmare. She's done nothing over the last 4 years except fucking line her own pockets and the pockets of people who donate to her, in particular people who run magnet schools, private schools, stuff like that. Her entire tenure as education secretary has been focused solely on getting public money to pay for private schools. That's her entire fucking thing. Her entire reason for being the education secretary was to funnel your tax dollars into the pockets of privately owned, mostly religious schools. So fuck her. Glad that she's gone. Right. I know this is all, yeah, she would have been gone in 2 weeks anyway, but, that's 2 weeks too many. Right. Mick Mulvaney, White House Chief of Staff, he resigned. He was a rat bastard also, who spread lies. Right. But anyway, he's out of there, so fuck him. Lots of other minor people. There's a guy named Matthew Pottinger, who was a deputy national security advisor, has resigned. Another person named Stephanie Grisham, who was Melania's chief of staff. The chief of staff to the first lady, has also resigned. Lots of minor people like that. Another person named Sarah Matthews, who worked under the press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, she resigned. The White House Social Secretary, whose name is Anna Christina Ricky Nacita. That's a cool name. I always like it when people have compound names like that. She resigned. 2 more people which were considering resigning, which probably have resigned by now. I haven't checked this morning. Robert O'Brien, who is another national security advisor. Chris Liddell, deputy chief of staff, is also considering resigning. They will probably resign or be fired as soon as Donald Trump finds out that they're considering resigning. So yeah, that's a good, how many people there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people who have resigned or are considering resigning in the aftermath of this. I don't know why there isn't more. From what I've read, apparently a lot of the cabinet members are staying on because they're afraid of who Donald Trump would replace them with in the next 2 weeks. Right? So I don't know how much damage can be done in 2 weeks, but apparently that's why a couple of people who normally would have resigned by now are still staying on there because they want to rein this administration in, possibly prevent another coup attempt. Because if you guys think that this is going to be the only one, if we don't do anything about it, I mean, who knows what he's planning, you know? So apparently Donald Trump also had a speech after this where he did a backdoor concession. He didn't actually say I concede. He did say that there will be a new administration sworn in on the 21st, right? That's probably as close to a concession that we're ever going to get from Donald Trump. You know, he just basically acknowledged reality, right? And then kind of went on and said, but we're going to continue to fight and you ain't seen nothing yet, blah, 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 right? And it's like, do you really think that he's just going to give up? Do you think, I mean, because we have one more big day, which is the 21st, right? Which we've already seen, we've already seen from these people that they're going to come back. They're talking about it on Reddit. They're talking about it on Parler. They're talking about it on Vote. That's another one. You know, Vote is fucking white supremacist Reddit, if you've never been there. You know, so they're basically planning on doing this entire fucking thing again on the 21st, right? Do you really think Donald Trump's not going to try to take advantage of that? Okay? Seriously, you know, why should we, you know, just because he said that, okay, he acknowledged reality here, do you think that's it? Think he's going to quit? Think he's just going to, like, slink off back to fucking, you know, Mar-a-Lago and hide his fucking head in the sand? No, I don't think so. And even if he is, we should not trust that he's going to. We should not trust that he's going to. We should prepare, right, for the contingency of another fucking coup attempt on the 21st. You know, they should bar the public from the inauguration, right? There shouldn't be people there, because I know that they're gonna, like, they want to do it and they want to have it socially distanced and all that shit, right? There should not be any people at the inauguration, and it should be surrounded by cops, right? Like, you can allow people like 2 blocks away. I'm serious. Okay, the only people, and, you know, plus we also have the excuse that, hey, there's a pandemic. We don't want people getting sick. So there you go. Right? There's your excuse that you can give for not allowing the public at this, you know, to come to this inauguration. Because it's just too dangerous. It's just too dangerous. And, you know, we can't trust one of these insane people not to show up with a gun, you know, or something, or try to drive a truck through it, or try to throw a fucking pipe bomb at it, or whatever, right? We just, you know, it's over. We're not, you know, we can't trust these people to be peaceful, right? Because they're not fucking peaceful. So, anyway, more aftermath, okay? So the acting Attorney General, because we don't have an Attorney General now, all right? Because our Attorney General resigned, remember? You know, Bill Barr was the Attorney General. He resigned because, you know, Donald Trump forced him to resign, basically, because he wouldn't help him steal the election. Remember that shit. So we have an acting Attorney General, right? Anyway, his name is Michael Sherwin. He says Donald Trump can face charges of seditious conspiracy, rioting, and insurrection after he leaves office. Will that actually happen? I don't know. I really don't think that we are going to be holding Donald Trump, you know, to this, right? I think Nancy Pelosi is really pissed, and she's basically threatening to impeach him again with 2 weeks left, right? And you would think, like, okay, well, why? There's 2 weeks left in his fucking administration. He's going to be gone in 2 weeks. Why drag out an impeachment again? And Bernie Sanders had a response to that, and he basically said the reason why is precedent, right? Because that way, if we don't do something, you know, in some way to punish this president for this behavior, then basically if we allow him to get away with it, then future presidents may try the exact same shit again, right? And that's why I'm like, okay, go for it. Fuck it. You got 2 weeks. What's the worst that can happen? You know, And another thing is that it forces all the Republicans to vote on it, right? So there you go. So now we can see, because we already saw, like, when the shit was happening, there was a bunch of Republicans who were still objecting to counting the electoral votes, and some of them backed off. Kelly Lafner backed off. Some of them didn't. Ted Cruz, he didn't. Okay, this other guy, what the fuck was his name? The other dude, his name is what's the fuck? I had the guy that shit. I had it written down. I have a lot of notes here, but I can't find it. God damn it. The fuck was this dude's name? There was another guy that was like who basically went ahead with the, I don't know, I can't remember. He had like this really, really stupid fucking name, but another one of those Trump, supporter asshole dudes in the Senate, right? Who continued on with the, continued on with the objection, right? As like, and these people were still doing this as like, like the Capitol gets invaded and stuff. Even after all that, after they brought him back to recount the votes, they still went through the dog and pony show of objecting to the, electoral votes, right? So that is why. That's why. So now we get them all on record. We can see who exactly is on record, and that way they have to defend that shit when they go talk to their constituents. Right? Why didn't you vote to impeach Donald Trump after he tried to fucking, a coup d'etat? Right? Why didn't you vote to impeach him? And then they'll have to come out and they'll have to fucking like explain themselves, right? And that also means we also know who to focus on. Josh Hawley. There you go. Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to draw and I got the screen there. That was his name, Josh Hawley. Thank you so much, Sean Nilabud. Anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, so that's why we want to get them on record, right? Make them defend it, and then it also means that when election time comes around, we know who to concentrate on. We know which races that we should be donating to our time and our money to in order to fucking unelect these people, right? So that's what it is, right? And yeah, so I say support. I say go for it. Impeach him, okay? Because, the other option is the 25th Amendment, right? That shit's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's too many roadblocks, right? Mike Pence is still too much of a fucking pussy to go through with that. So he's not going to do it, So it's like, yeah, like, I don't know, folks. And that would just be the perfect ending, again, to Donald Trump's one term as the worst president ever. If he, like, left while he was being impeached. Can you impeach a president after they leave office? If they put in the articles of impeachment and then he leaves office, can they still impeach him? Because the other side effect, right, of impeaching him means that he can't hold office again, right? So if I understand that right, so that would also prevent him from running again in 2024. So that would be an awesome benefit, I think. Kind of nip that shit in the bud even before he like gets a chance to go for it. So can you do that? Does the president have to actually be in office? Or if you start the proceedings before he leaves, can you continue on? I don't know. I think they should do something to keep him from running again, right? I personally, I would rather have him go to prison, and that way he can't run again because he's in prison. That would be nice. So anyway, I lost, I was scrolling through my notes here and I lost it. Where was I? Okay. So, some other shit that happened. Lots of questions about why the cops were not ready, why they were allowing these people to go through, why they were moving barricades, things like that. And also, why was the National Guard not on hand in case this thing went south? Because it's not like they didn't know that, this shit was happening. Okay. And apparently, here's an article that I found here. Let me just open this up. right? And this is from the day. Let me turn on my monitor. Pentagon put significant restrictions on D.C. Guard ahead of pro-Trump protests. So this is some scary shit. The Pentagon placed significant restrictions, right, putting the district attorney's military force in a backseat role ahead of events that resulted in insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. In memos issued on January 4th and 5th, the Pentagon prohibited the district's guardsmen from receiving ammunition or riot gear, interacting with protesters unless necessary for self-defense, sharing equipment with local law enforcement, or using guard surveillance and air assets without the Secretary of Defense's explicit sign-off, according to officials familiar with the orders. District Guard also was told it would only be allowed to deploy a quick reaction force only as a measure of last resort. So, kind of like, kind of like beforehand, somebody told them not to coordinate. I wonder who that person was. Right? It kind of and here's the, when you read shit like that, right, then you see the way that the police were acting, some of them, not all of them, of course. There's other videos of cops actually doing their jobs, and in particular one that I saw where a cop was kind of stuck in between a door and was getting crushed and was like screaming and shit. So it wasn't all of them, but a significant number seemed to be all too happy to just open those doors, let people walk in, take fucking selfies with people, shit like that, right? Stand out of the way, when fucking like violent insurrectionists are fucking storming the Capitol. And it almost makes you think maybe somebody told them to do it, especially when you read shit like that the orders came from the Pentagon. Nope. National Guard's not coming, right? And apparently it was one of the senators who called them, asking them to come, and they still couldn't come because they didn't have permission. And then suddenly Mike Pence called them, right? And when the vice president called because he was in danger, and the governor of Maryland apparently was ready to go, and he couldn't deploy because he didn't have permission from the Pentagon, And it was like, as soon as he got that call from Mike Pence, he got that permission, and bam, they were out there. And it's just like, I don't know, you don't want to formulate conspiracies when it comes to these kinds of things, right? But when you read these kinds of things, and it's like, I know that this is my brain putting two unrelated facts together and making an assumption. But it does really fit together pretty well, doesn't it? It does kind of make it sound like the orders came from up on high to not deploy the National Guard there, right? And that would explain a lot of things. So, I don't want to straight out come out and say it because that's just speculation. I'm just speculating. But I hope there's an investigation, and I hope they find out the actual truth. And was it really just all incompetence? Was it really just all like, or was there actually somebody behind all of this fucking pulling the strings, to the benefit of Donald Trump, right? It would make perfect sense, is what I'm saying. That if they planned it like this on purpose, if somebody from the Trump White House interfered with all of this, maybe his, acting attorney general, maybe the attorney general who, because he just fired his attorney general for not fucking stealing the election for him. Maybe the one that he replaced him with, might have took some steps. I don't know. Hopefully there's an investigation. And I hate doing this. I hate sounding like that because whenever I think these things, I know in my head that there's no proof for this. You want to get the proof first before you state something as a fact. So this is not a fact. This is me speculating. And it could very well turn out that it all just was incompetence that led to this perfect storm of fuckery that allowed these people to just walk into the fucking Capitol with very little resistance. Somehow I don't fucking believe it. we saw the video, you know, the pictures. We showed the pictures last time of what the Capitol looks like when there's a BLM protest there. Right? So there's no fucking excuse, is what I'm trying to say. How much time we got? 1:20? Alright. Oh, man. So there's a threat of this type of violence spreading. Okay, so things have calmed down in the Capitol now. Apparently there's still sporadic protesters walking around, but there's a curfew now. There's no more violence. Right. But there have been reports of violence elsewhere in the country. None of them to the same level as to what we saw in D.C. You know, there's been protests around a lot here. Here I've got another article from, this one's from the Daily Mail. Daily Mail, by the way, is basically just a fucking tabloid, but they seem to be right here. Okay, this is the Daily Mail. Oh, fuck you, I hate the Daily Mail. Because there's so many ads here. See, the thing is, if I turn on my ad blocker, then it just blocks the entire site. So, I don't know why anybody would read this shit with all of these ads on here. Anyway, Trump mob storms Democrat Washington Governor Jay Inslee's mansion, and protesters surround Texas, California, Michigan, Georgia, Oregon, and Kansas state capitals. So, now, apparently they did not actually break into the governor's mansion in Washington. They just broke into the grounds and were outside of it, right? They were banging on his door and stuff like that, but they didn't break any windows. They didn't, like, burst into the fucking place and, like, you know, try to drag him outside and, you know, fucking, like, tar and feather him and shit like that. Still pretty fucking, you know, scary as hell for the governor and his family to have, you know, insane people outside of their mansion. Apparently, outside of the governor's mansion in Washington, there was a standoff as well, you know, with armed security guards. I think they were like whatever security that the governor has there, whether they're cops or what. And there was a standoff, and then these people left after half an hour. So thankfully, no lives were lost. But still, that's some scary shit. These other protests in these other cities, you know, apparently were not violent. But there are, you know, that's the thing, is that we can't trust these people anymore. There is one in California here that actually did get a little violent. In particular in Los Angeles. And I have another news story of this. This actually has a video which I'm going to play, right? So, let me just get rid of some of these ads and shit here. Okay, let me turn on the monitor again. Black woman heartbroken after vicious attack by a racist MAGA mob in downtown Los Angeles. So, this is another protest in LA. And I'll just go ahead and play the video of this so you guys can see it. Right, let me put on my headphones so I can hear it.
The LAPD is looking into several fights that erupted in downtown LA during a pro-Trump rally yesterday. This after people have come forward saying the attacks were racially motivated. CBS 2's Joy Benedict has more from downtown.
What may have started as a peaceful demonstration in downtown Los Angeles didn't end that way yesterday. And today, new heartbreaking images are surfacing from what many are calling racially motivated attacks during a rally in support of President Donald Trump.
I don't understand what's going on with the world. I'm saddened by it. I'm heartbroken by it.
Berlinda Nebo is the woman seen in these photos being assaulted.
It's a shame that I can't walk down my street anymore.
She says she was walking near the demonstration when she started being harassed by protesters.
I'm walking by and they're yelling at me because of my color, calling me the N-word, calling me the B-word, saying all lives matter, black lives doesn't matter.
Nebo says she yelled back and the crowd started following her, and then it turned violent.
He goes and smacks me in the face, and then all of them start trying to jump me, and then people jump in.
These images were captured by freelance photojournalist Raquel Natalicio.
when they started pushing her around, this other woman that was a Trump supporter came up to her and ripped her wig off. Obviously, at that point, she began to try to defend herself.
Natalikio covers many events like this, so she didn't want to show her face for fear of retaliation, but says she had to speak out.
It's disgraceful. I think it's disgusting. We're witnessing the very real racism that still lives in our country today.
Nebo says it was strangers who came to her rescue,
Goddamn
including
ads.
this man with
Sorry
the
about
red
that.
beard.
He was whispering in my ear.
Where'd it go? Where'd the video go? There it is.
You.
Okay.
I've got you. Don't do anything. These people are literally trying to kill you.
In the process of him trying to carry her away from the crowd, someone sprayed pepper spray in her face and a...
So, I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that right there? So this guy's trying to protect her, right? As they're walking away, this piece of shit, whoever's hiding behind this column, sprays her in the face with pepper spray. Alright. Now, let's just end that. Okay, you get the idea. Okay, this lady was basically assaulted, ran afoul of some protesters. Right. Now, why would you just attack a random fucking person like that? What's the point? Okay, yeah, so you're there to help the president. Okay, that's supposedly why those people were protesting in downtown LA, right? To help Donald Trump. So why would they attack a black woman like that? Like, what's your, and here's the thing, because you keep hearing people saying, oh, it's not about race. It's not about race. Look how many black people were at that protest, right? Look, the leader of the of the Proud Boys is like a half black, half Puerto Rican guy or whatever, right? It's not about race. Well, why the fuck did that just happen right there? Right? If that's not about race, do you think if that was a white person, a white lady, do you think that dude would have maced her? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you really think that even would have, like, happened if that was, say, a white woman right there? Would they have torn her mask off? Right? I guess this lady was wearing a wig. Somebody ran up, stole her wig. Shit like that. Would she have to be escorted out, like that by, like, thankfully, like, a good Samaritan came and, like, fucking helped her get away. Would people be punching her in the face as she was being dragged out? Probably not, okay? So, yes, it is very much, racism is very much a big component of what these fucking people, believe. Right? So I don't want to hear any. I mean, there you go, man. There's your proof right there, dude. The proof is in the fucking pudding. And yeah, okay, so there are plenty of black Trump supporters. It's true. Okay, there's black Trump supporters. There's Latino Trump supporters. Right? There's plenty of non-whites who are conservatives. Right? But that doesn't change the fact that, racism is very much a motivator in what these people, are protesting. Very much a motivator in what drives these people to violence like that. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I wanted to show that because that video was fucked up. And you know what? I'm going to put that in the, let me just copy that link address. I'm going to put it in the chat here in case you guys want to check it later. Because it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see this. This is, by the way, Los Angeles. This is where I live. This is liberal California there for you. Right? Liberal fucking California that, fucking legalized marijuana, where everybody owns a fucking Prius. Right? Where 50% of the population in Los Angeles is Latino. There you go. Right there. Maybe not as liberal as everybody thinks, right? Maybe not as progressive as everybody thinks, okay? Kind of shows you that these fucking people are everywhere. They're not just in the deep south. They're not just in Texas or Louisiana or Florida, all right? They're in the north. They're in the liberal cities where people drink lattes and eat leeks and fucking, like, eat Impossible soy hamburgers with fucking spicy mustard. They're here too. Okay? They're everywhere. Alright? So keep that shit in mind. Anyway, so yeah, shit is hitting the fan, right? Why are people surprised that this happened? That's another thing, okay? You know, because you always get, like, there's always going to be people that defend this shit, right? Even right now, you know, go on Reddit, go on Parler, etc. People are defending these guys, right? And, you know, defending these fucking insurrectionists. And it's like, why are you surprised that it happened? You know, when you have the president of the United States for a fucking year telling you how he's gonna lose, you know, because the election's gonna be stolen and all this other shit, and that you know, Black Lives Matter is fucking murdering people, and Mexico is sending, you know, fucking rapists and murderers. I mean, I'm sure some of them are good people, right? Like, when you have all of this shit happening, why are you surprised when people take the logical step, you know, and act on those beliefs? I mean, it's already happened. You know, if you remember in Michigan, where a bunch of, like, you know, Trump supporter guys broke into the fucking Michigan Capitol with their guns, pointing their guns at people, screaming about how they don't want to wear masks. Right? It already happened. You know, and also, you know, those crazy people that fucking threatened to basically kidnap and murder the governor of Michigan. You remember that? Those guys? Right? Definitely were fucking Trump supporters. You know, at least a couple of them. They were right-wing insane people. Right? Here's the thing. When that happened, the right wing turned around and tried to say those guys were liberals, is what they said. You know, because one of them had a fucking anarchist t-shirt or something. And obviously, since they're anarchists, that must mean that they're liberals, right? Because, you know, remember, on the right wing, there's no distinction between communist, Democrat, progressive, you know, SJW. It all means the same thing to all these guys, right? They don't understand that people like me, right? I'm pretty much despise, like, people like who are like actual Marxists. They despise people like me because I'm not a Marxist. Okay? Like, because I'm unwilling to take that extra step and, like, you know, have a fucking revolt of the, you know, proletariat and shit like that and seize the means of production. Like, they despise people like me, you know? So you got to remember that the left is very much divided in and of itself. But to the right wing, to these guys, these QAnon people, the Trump supporter people, there's no distinction. We're all the same. A guy who's a Bernie supporter, or somebody who supports Ilhan Omar and believes in social democracy and wants, like, a social safety net and, like, you know, something like universal health care, for example, that guy's indistinguishable from a hardcore Marxist who wants to topple the United States government and seize the means of production and you know, steal, like, you know, Amazon and give it to the workers, shit like that. Right? That's actually true. That's, hey, you guys, hey, don't be fighting in my fucking in my comment section, guys. Right? So anyway, there's a big, you know, there's no distinction between these guys, right? Let's see. So, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, how are these guys responding to this, all right? Well, the people who are not doubling down on this and who are not supporting it are pretty much trying to blame it on the left wing. So you're seeing lots of things in the news where they're just like, and on social media where they're saying, they're trying to blame the insurrection on Antifa, right? Which is ridiculous. Okay, this was something that Matt Gaetz got up and said, some stupid horseshit like this. Matt Gaetz is a pile of human excrement in a cheap $3 suit, who somehow managed to get himself elected to the Congress, from Florida, I think he is, right? He got up in front of the Congress and basically said that there's a company with facial recognition technology. Oh, you can't even see what I'm drawing. I'm drawing down here. All right, let me move that over. he got up in front of the House of Representatives and basically said that there is a company with facial recognition technology that has shown that some of the insurrectionists were Antifa infiltrators, which is complete, total, 100% horseshit of the highest caliber. These people are not, they were not Antifa people, right? There really weren't very many, counter-protesters there at all during this, because a lot of the Antifa people, a lot of the BLM people decided to stay home because they knew it was going to turn violent, right? Which I guess this kind of goes to show this is what happens. This is what happens when fascists are allowed to just run rampant, when there are no anti-fascists there to actually fight back against them. This is what happens. They, maybe if there was an equal number of Antifa people there brawling with these guys, they never would have made it inside the Capitol. Right? Think about it like that, Am I advocating for violence against these people? Well, no. But when does it become acceptable? What? After they break into the Capitol, then are you allowed to punch one of these guys in the face? It's this whole time, ever since Antifa became to prominence in 2016, 2017, there's been all of this shit about how, you shouldn't instigate violence. Yeah, okay, maybe you shouldn't instigate it, right? Or it's wrong to just, randomly assault people even if they are Nazis. Well, when does it become okay to punch a Nazi in the face, right? When he breaks into the Capitol, do we have to wait for him to actually smash the door down and invade the Capitol building before you're allowed to punch him in the face? Right? When? Does he have to murder somebody first before you can punch him in the face? When does that point come? Yeah, if you see someone burning books, shoot to kill. There you go. That's a good, I don't know, maybe not kill them, but kick him in the balls or something at least. I don't know, right? So yeah, I mean, yes, I can't, myself advocate for just going up to a dude who has a fucking, say he's wearing a Nazi punk band t-shirt and just beating the shit out of him for no reason. I can't really advocate that because I don't believe that's true, right? Giving him shit, yeah, right? Using shame, yes, right? If he gets violent, giving back exactly what he gives, yes. I can advocate for all of that shit. I still myself think that it should be a defensive position, that we shouldn't be going out there. But you can go counter protest these guys and be ready for when they try to fucking pull this shit. Maybe if there were 300 or 400 Antifa guys standing in front of the fucking Capitol building, the cops obviously weren't fucking there. Maybe they could have stopped them. Maybe they could have formed a human wall or some shit. So there you go. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't escalate, but at the same time be prepared, right? But yeah, so these guys definitely were not Antifa people. I got some more pictures to show you guys. This is going to be fun. Let me see here. Let's find my pictures. Let me go up here. Let's see. We already talked about Josh Hawley. We talked about the New South Side. What is this one? Oh, here we go. This is a funny one. All right. This came from a subreddit called Leopards Ate My Face. And this is a story in 3 acts. That's my son. I love you, boy. Every Trump supporter come to DC now to stop the steal. That's his son breaking into the Capitol, hanging a Trump flag off of this statue of whoever that is. Patriot Richard. Why is the FBI contacting me? Oh, look. Patriot Richard's Twitter got suspended. I like his little icons here. Yeah. What's with the fucking middle finger there, huh? I don't know. So, yeah, that one was some funny shit. That's funny. Okay, let's see. What else do I got here? I got you turn that one off. Blame Antifa. Okay, I have an entire folder of people trying to blame Antifa, right? So this is what I did. I went to Twitter and oh wait, wrong one. Let me just move that over there. I went to Twitter and I went to Laura Ingraham on Twitter because I wanted to see what she had to say about this, right? And let's see, where's my Laura Ingraham tweet? Did I save her tweet? More Brooks, looks like. I could have sworn that I saved in Laura Ingram's tweet. Anyway, I went to Laura Ingraham. I looked up one of her tweets here, and all of these that I'm about to show you, right, were answers to Laura. So Laura Ingraham tweeted, and she basically tried to blame Antifa for, the riots. All of these I'm going to show you. The majority of these are answers to this one single tweet. Okay. Here we go. This is Paula Jones. Antifa did this, and the news knows it. They will not tell the truth. Patriots would have not crossed those lines. Yeah. Okay. These people are kind of in denial. This is how they're handling it. Here it is. Here's the one from Laura Ingraham. Okay. I don't know why I didn't call it that. I guess I didn't name it right. Developing. Facial recognition firm confirms Antifa infiltrated Trump protesters who stormed Capitol. Right. This is bullshit. This is a horseshit conspiracy theory. Has no fucking basis in reality. Right. So, these are all people who are replying to that. Let's see. Polly Punch and Jury. People already flooding the internet with pics of these Antifa members from their sites. They have been planning to dress. They have plan no end to dress as Trump supporters just to agitate and try to burn it all down. These guys are not Antifa people, as we will soon see. Right? They are not. The guy with the horns is actually a very well-known QAnon person, right? In fact, I've got him right here. This is the guy with the horns. QAnon promoter stormed the Capitol. Now he's upset. People are saying he's Antifa. Right? You couldn't be better here, man. So this guy's name is the Q Shaman, QAnon Shaman. And he shows up at Trump rallies. He's actually made kind of a name for himself. He's pretty famous here. Oh, wow, there was a picture. This is his car. Right. He has an Info Warrior ride is what, there's a subreddit for that too called Info Warrior Rides. Anyway. So yeah, dude is most definitely not an Antifa person. Right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, kiss my ass, San Francisco Gate. I don't care about you. Fuck off. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Antifa infiltrators. And that's the thing. It's like any, 5 minutes of Googling, of course, of research could disprove all of this shit. But nobody ever does because they're right-wingers and they don't trust the sources of information, Google's just a tech company trying to, force their liberal values on everybody or whatever fucking such horse shit. Here we go. This isn't us. This is Antifa. Right? Posting the same shit. I spoke to my Antifa operative in Portland and she said one's going to DC. Now, does it mean that there were no Antifa people there? There probably were some. Some counter-protesters. Right? People probably did go down there to counter-protest. Okay? But these people who broke into the fucking Capitol? No. Clearly not. Clearly not Antifa people. Alright. What else? Let's move on here. What else we got here? Another one. Donna Maria Soehad. Since when do Trump supporters wear Antifa-like helmets? What the fuck are you talking about? These are like military helmets. These are obviously... I mean... What, like only Antifa people are allowed to wear helmets? Is that what you're trying to fucking say? It's dumb. It's stupid. And people take shit like this and see this is how conspiracy theories start, right? You know, they start because there's actually no proof of Antifa infiltrators, you know, no proof of that at all, and it's just people making assumptions. You know, making assumptions with nothing to back it up, so that it makes them feel good. That's conspiracy theories in a nutshell. Moving on. This has Antifa written all over it. Another one. This guy just thinks if he just repeats it over and over and over and over, maybe it'll come true. Right. Here we go. Going with my gut. Antifa. I have friends there today said it was peaceful until busloads of Antifa protest posers came to disrupt. Wow. So first off, you notice here, going with my gut. So it's not what facts are, you know. So there's no facts involved. You got to remember, this is belief we're talking about, right? This is belief. It has nothing to do with the facts. If you were to actually show up to this person and present them with facts, it wouldn't change their mind, because facts don't actually ever change people's minds when it comes to their beliefs, right? The only thing that is going to change this person, her name's Janice R. here, only thing that's ever going to change her mind is if she gets hit with the truth in a way that resonates with her emotionally, right? Going with my gut feeling. Your gut is usually wrong. That's another thing, you know. Your gut feeling is basically when you make decisions from your gut feeling, you're making decisions based on your preconceived notions and prejudices. That's what your gut feeling is, right? My gut feeling said that this guy was bad news. Why? Because you have some kind of preconceived notion or prejudice about whatever type person he is. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be their ethnicity or their skin color or anything like that. You could have a prejudice against a guy that has a first and a last name that sound the same. You know, his name is Mitch Mitcherson, right? You could be biased against that. I don't trust people that have two first names. Tom Thompson. There you go. Right? It could be something as ridiculous as that. It could be something like, the guy smells funny and I don't like him. That's my and you know, that's your gut reaction to somebody, right? Has nothing to do with the actual facts. The person that you're meeting could be the nicest guy on earth. You know, it could be a fucking philanthropist or whatever. Doesn't fucking matter. You know, so that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about, you know, this is their gut reaction is saying, oh, it couldn't have been us. You know. Moving on. Let's keep going here. Let's see. I got a couple more. Jackie Eason. Clearly it's Antifa. Some habits don't die. Yeah, only Antifa would ever get violent and want to go, you know, hang the vice president. Clearly. Here we go. This is Mo Brooks. Right, he's actually a representative. So, Representative Mo Brooks. This is a politician. People voted for this guy. Right. He has constituents out there. The United States taxpayer is paying his salary. Mo Brooks, please don't be like fake news media. Don't rush to judgment. An assault on Capitol. Wait for investigation. Don't rush to judgment. As people are breaking into the fucking Capitol. People are dying. As people are looting shit. Anyway. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't fucking judge them, right? I shouldn't judge guys for trying to take over the fucking government of the United States. Alright. All may not be and is likely not what appears evidence growing that fascist Antifa orchestrated Capitol attack with clever mob control tactics. Here we go, folks. This conspiracy theory, see how fast, you know, I talk about this a lot, but you see how fast this shit develops? How fast these conspiracy theories just come out of nowhere. Mo Brooks. Number one, a congressman warned me on Monday of a growing Antifa threat and advised I sleep in my office rather than leaving Capitol Complex and sleeping in my condo. I heeded that advice and I slept on office floor for 4 straight nights. Wow, he must be smelly as fuck. Unless they got showers in there. Number two, congressman told me he was warned on Tuesday by Capitol Police that an officer that intelligence suggested and fascist Antifa was going to try to infiltrate the Trump rally by dressing like Trump supporters. 3. Capitol Police advised Tuesday that it is best not to leave the Capitol complex. 4. Evidence much public surfacing that many Capitol assaulters were fascist Antifas, not Trump supporters. Again, time will reveal the truth. They keep leaving out like words like a and the, shit like that. It's fucking me up. Don't rush to judgment. Don't be fooled by fake news media whose political judgment drives their reporting. My view, fully prosecute all. See how fast that shit is? Notice how he doesn't actually say who any of these people are. Congressman told me he was warned. What congressman? Who? Who said it? Fucking say it here. Why not? You know, another congressman warned me Monday of a growing Antifa. You know, fuck you. Tell me who the fuck said this to you. Right. Chances are nobody said it. Chances are he's making it up. Okay. He's 99%. He's probably just making this shit up. How come he didn't say any of this shit before the riot started? How come he didn't, do we have a tweet from Mo Brooks saying, hey, I got a warning that Antifa guys are going to try to, like, break into the Capitol? No. No. Well, it's easy to claim that you had foreknowledge after the shit happens, right? How come you didn't say anything? And why wouldn't he not say something? He's a politician, right? The entire job of a politician is to promote themselves, right? To get themselves in the news and shit, because that way people pay attention to the legislation that you're fucking promoting. You know, even if it's not for you to, like, get popular so you can become president one day or some shit, right? You know, that's like half of what a politician's job is, self-promotion. So why would he not self-promote that, you know? I mean, what's the worst that could fucking happen? There wasn't an attack on the Capitol? Bullshit. So no, he doesn't, evidence. Number 4, much evidence, much public surfacing. What evidence? Show me the fucking evidence. What evidence do you have? That company that says that, okay, we have facial recognition. Let's see it. Let's see it. Lay it out for people. Make a website. Put up all the pictures of these supposed fascist Antifas. I like how they say fascist Antifa. It's like, that's like a misnomer right there. Fascist Antifa. That's like a meat-eating, a fucking, carnivorous vegan. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Mo Brooks is a goddamn moron. And this is a guy that we should donate our time and money to fucking unelecting this fucking idiot. Right. This is one of them. This is one of the fascists in government right here. Mo Brooks. Let's get rid of this fucking piece of shit. Unelect Mo Brooks. I don't even live in his fucking state. I'm going to donate to whoever runs against him. I don't care. Vermin fucking Supreme could run against Mo Brooks. I'll fucking donate to him. Moving on. Here goes an Antifa flyer. Election day nears, comrades. Be prepared to defend your rights. The thing about shit like this is that anybody can post anything to social media. So, do we know it's real? Well, there's some clues that if we can see it's real or not. For example, the wording. On November 4th, don't forget to disguise yourselves as patriots, Trump supporters. Wear hats, USA flags, 3% of the convincing police uniform is even better. Right. First off, Antifa do not call these people patriots. Okay? They do not call... So if this was a real Antifa flyer here, they would say, disguise yourselves as fascists. That's what they would say. Right? But Antifa doesn't do that. You notice that it's never the people on the left who LARP as guys on the right. It's always the other way around. There's always other agent provocateurs from the right wing that go into the left wing. I showed you last time in the last stream the article about the guy that made the fake Twitter account pretending to be an anti-fascist guy, right? As I was searching for that, a surprising number of hits came up of basically right-wing, alt-right people posing as left-wingers, and I'm going to make an entire video about that. Right? So that's coming soon. I'm going to make an entire video about agent provocateurs and guys posing as people on the left and saying outlandish shit on purpose. That kind of thing. Right? So, anyway, yeah. Fake fucking flyer, right? With some stock image that was just cut out of fucking, like, this stock image that was cut out of fucking clip art. And it's just, this person made this shit up, in order to perpetuate this lie. That's how fast this shit goes. Okay? Because they're in denial. All right. Another one. Proud. His name's just Proud. I'm assuming he means proud patriot. Antifa, fist in the air, not a patriot. So only Antifa people are allowed to put their fists in the air, huh? This here is Josh Hawley. We just got finished talking about him. He's got his fist in the air. Josh Hawley. After the fucking Capitol was broken in by a bunch of insurrectionist terrorists, he still went through with his dog and fucking pony show, right? That he knew had no chance of actually affecting the outcome of the election. He did it anyway, right? Here he is with his fist in the air. Is he an Antifa person? I don't know. Let's go back. Let's go back to, where were we? Fist in the air. Here's another one. Okay, I don't know, but I know who the guy wearing the horns is. So, this is a response to somebody saying the horned guy was an Antifa guy. He posts a link, right, that reveals who this person is, who the dude with the horns is. His name is QAnon Shaman. Somebody else replies right after that, he is Antifa. So, perfect example. You know, we're talking about how people don't believe in facts. How when you present facts to conspiracy theorists, they double down because it's a belief. Perfect example right here. Guy responded with a fact. This person here, Lestar13, this fact hurt her feelings. So she lashed back. She doubled down on her fucking dumbass belief that it just got disproven. It's unbelievable. There you go. See, facts don't matter to these people. You gotta remember that, right? It's feelings. Right? Seriously. Moving on. A couple more. Just to kind of show you, this is the horn guy. This people all mistaking this dude as an Antifa guy. You know, here he is at a BLM protest. He's not an Antifa person. He's not a BLM person, right? But people jumping all over this because they don't know how to research things. They don't know how to Google for 2 fucking seconds. You know, here he is again. Same dude shaking hands with fucking Rudy Giuliani. You know, if you're still out there, people who still don't believe that he's an actual QAnon guy, that he's a Trump supporter. Here he is fucking shaking hands with Trump's lawyer, with no mask on, by the way. I wonder if Giuliani gave this guy COVID. Right? Remember, Giuliani went to fucking the hospital for COVID. Hopefully this guy didn't catch it from him. Looks like Antifa. King of the Oompa Loompas. Right? King of the Oompa Loompas. Looks like Antifa. Another one. Keith Melio. That's not a Trump supporter. Sorry, bruh. It just ain't. This is all talking about... Here's another one. This dude had a tattoo. Right? On his hand. Saying that, okay, that's a hammer and sickle. Right? Does it look like a hammer and sickle to you? It doesn't to me, because in real life it's not a hammer and sickle. In real life it's a video game tattoo. Right? So I didn't actually... Wait, did I keep track of this? Let me see if I actually have this. I think I might actually have this in my notes here. Let me just pull this up. Let's see. Not Antifa in disguise. Oh, God, did I not keep this one? Damn it. Anyway, this is basically a tattoo from a video game, right? Let me see if I can find, let's see. Video game tattoo hand communism. See if it pops up. Here we go. Are they going to show us tattoo, though? Yeah, okay, here it is. Here it is. So basically, this is what this dude is, right? The guy with the hammer and sickle on his hand. No, this Capitol insurrectionist isn't Antifa, but he is from Alabama. They're talking about this dude. Right. Scrolling down. You know, you can kind of see his tattoo on his hand right there. See it? It's not a hammer and sickle. All right? He's not a fucking, look at it right there. See it? See it? Not a hammer and sickle. Okay, so no. All right. He actually is, yeah, that's actually from a video game. I can't remember the name of the video game. I thought I wrote it down, but yeah. Oh, let's see. We're still streaming. What are we at? What time is it? 2 hours. Okay, let me just, I got a few more of these, and then I'm going to go through some reader comments, and then we'll end this. Another one, Isabella Simonou. There are BLM and Antifa disguised as Trump supporters. A Trump supporter wouldn't do that. Wake up, people. This isn't us. See, she's in denial. Right? Completely in denial. And this is what happens, you know, when you get these people. Like, she can't understand that people on her side would actually do this kind of thing, you know, because it's all about image, right? That's what this entire thing is. It's all about, you know, let me turn off this left monitor here. Okay. Oh, great. Now I got it. Okay, cool. You know, it's all about image to these guys. They all have, it's about belief and image, and we wouldn't do this. We're not violent. The left is violent. All this other shit. Even though there's tons and tons of examples and evidence to the contrary. They've created this belief in their heads, you know, this us versus them kind of thing, where they're the heroes, you know, and they don't understand. And, you know, that person right there, all those people replying to those quotes, they don't understand, you know, and they don't understand, like, what fascism really, you know, what it looks like when it shows up on your shores. You know, they think fascism is like, you know, telling somebody that they're not allowed to say the N-word, or forcing, like, you know, a company to bake a cake for a gay person, shit like that. You know, they think that's fascism, or rather a company like losing business because they refuse to bake a cake for a gay person, put it that way, right? You know, that's what they equate to fascism. They don't actually, because they don't actually know. It's like these are the low information voters, you know, the lowest of the low information voters. They're people that act through feelings and what feels good, right? And shit like that. They don't actually, you know, this is why everybody wonders, like, how come these guys don't believe in science, don't believe in global warming? You know, they spread conspiracy theories about abortions and shit like that. They don't wear fucking face masks, right? And it's like, well, the science is right there, man. It's undeniable. How can you ignore it? Because they don't care about facts. It all relates, right? It's the exact same reason why they don't believe in global warming, right? Why they don't believe that pollution is a big fucking problem, right? Why they think that people who get abortions get fucking breast cancer. They don't, right? Why they think fucking windmills cause cancer, right? They don't. Why they think nuclear power is safe. It isn't. Okay, not in the current form that it's in now. I mean, they could make safer reactors, but even the safest reactor is still not that safe. Okay, you know. Now, I mean, that's a whole nother can of worms in and of itself. If you want to talk about nuclear power, I'm not completely opposed to it, but I'm just saying, you know, it's undeniable that nuclear power is fucking dangerous. All right, like, you know, like, it's just shit like this. It's like, people ignore the facts. They ignore the facts because they, you know, they've built these things into their identity, because it's like a religion to these people. Anyway, fuck. Let me just, let's see, is that all my prepared material? There was some other shit I wanted to talk about, but we're already at 2 hours. I wanted to talk about, a little bit about general Republican fascist assholeness, you know, and because I've got an entire list of just Republican fuckery over the last couple of years. But, you know, I think we're at a good spot here. Plus, we're already at 2 hours. And I promised my wife I was going to play World of Warcraft later with her and our friends. So, right. So, let's go through and read some of the comments now. Thank you guys for all sticking with me through today and me leaving to go, you know, get fucking stuff because I wasn't prepared and all that. Really appreciate it. I see that you guys had a very lively discussion going in the comment section here today. Let me see. Let me kind of go through some of these comments here, see if there's obviously too many to actually read. So, but you know, If there's any that actually pop out, let's see. Lewis the Hedgehog. My idea is not to block traffic, but to hold up signs that say honk if you support us. Yeah, I mean, ideally that's how you'd want to do it, right? And, you know, the vast majority of protests out there that happened over this summer, that's exactly how they went, you know. There's even one here in my small little suburb of Los Angeles, my conservative suburb of Los Angeles that I live in. You know, there was even a couple of Black Lives Matter protests here, which was funny because they were all teenagers, like all of them. You know, but it was great, and that's exactly how it went. You know, they hold up signs, you know, people would honk, stuff like that, and you know, but yeah, it is a legitimate tactic to disrupt the law, you know, to break the law in so much that you're disrupting the you know, status quo, right? When you protest, that actually is a legitimate tactic. And it's, you know, but the thing is, you're supposed to do it in a peaceful manner, right? Hang on a second, I need to this little portion right here, just looking at that, just kind of need to make that a little darker. Okay, you know, the way you disrupt things, you do it peacefully, you know. So blocking traffic is a way of disrupting stuff, and you're doing it in a peaceful way. You're not hurting anybody, you know. Ideally, if an ambulance rolls through there, you want to get out of the way, obviously. Shit like that, you know, if the fire truck runs through there, that kind of thing, you know. But normally, what are you actually doing if you block traffic? You're inconveniencing some people. Oh, wow, this pizza's going to be late. Right? That kind of thing. And, you know, it's not some shit, you know, it's not like breaking into the Capitol building, going to kidnap and fucking hang the vice president. You know, it's not like smashing your way into the fucking, you know, governor's mansion to fucking, like, kidnap her and her family, right? And hold some fucking silly-ass monkey trial where you fucking, like, declare them guilty and execute them afterwards, right? There's a difference between those things, right? And even, you know, doing that is also not the same as marching up to the Capitol in Michigan and surrounding it with fucking AR-15s. That's also not disrupting things in a peaceful manner, right? That's disrupting shit in a fucking, like, you know, threatening, violent manner. Okay, seriously, you know. I mean, if you were to, like, what's the difference between, like, standing in front of traffic or standing in front of traffic with a gun? What's the difference there? Okay, one of those is peaceful and doesn't hurt anyone. The other one begins peacefully, right, and hopefully ends with nobody getting hurt. You see the difference there? You know? So it's like, for all of you guys out there who are all of you, like, Second Amendment people who think you should be able to bring a gun everywhere with you, you know, inside of the government buildings, inside the doctor's office, inside of school, right? Inside the fucking bathroom when you're, like, taking a shit, whatever, right? You see the difference? You know, one of those is peaceful protest. The other one isn't. The other one begins peacefully, but has a threat of violence. Right? So yeah, I mean, I don't know, but just to kind of end this, it is a legitimate tactic to not obey the law while protesting. It's just the manner in which you do it, in my opinion, is what matters, you know. Let's see. Let's go on. Thing is, there's no downside to this for the left. Are you talking about, you know... Oh, you said releasing 30 to 50 feral hogs. Wow. Yeah, that'd be funny. Let's see. More comments. I want to kind of go through some more. Talking about spies. Excuse me. I'm burping here. I'm drinking this Bundaberg ginger root beer. This shit is the bomb. It's diet because I'm fat, but fuck it. It's, like, really fucking good. It's a little early for me to be drinking alcohol in the day, so that's why no beer today. Um, let's see. There was another comment that you made, Sean. Dude, there's 77 million Trump tards in your country. What the fuck could China do that could be worse than that? I kind of wanted to get back to that. Yeah. Well, you know, if there was a full-on revolt, yeah. I don't think China doesn't have the military power to sufficiently challenge the United States in a ground war, right? Not really. They have the numbers. They don't really have the technology, nor do they have the, you know, they don't have the equipment that we have. They don't have the logistics. They don't have the satellites. Basically, China is what's called a, you know, they're called a green power. You know, if they were to field an army of 1 million men, that'd be a thing. But there's no way they could get their 1 million men over to the United States in order to invade. They'd get annihilated on the sea. And air power in China is... So basically, China's not really much of a, you know, danger. They're a threat for sure, you know, militarily. But they're a threat in the same way Iran is a threat. Like, in a protracted war, they pretty much would be defeated. Right? And this is not even counting things like nuclear weapons or whatever, although we don't need to know how many nuclear weapons China has, you know? But it's not even counting shit like that. Just conventional warfare, right? Now, yeah, they could hurt us in very much in other ways, which is kind of how it's going. It's kind of like there's sort of like a little mini Cold War going on with China right now. You know, there has been like sort of a technological kind of Cold War happening for a couple of decades, where like, you know, they try to like steal our drones, shit like that. That kind of thing's happening. I'm not really worried about ever an actual war breaking out with China, because even though we've had like, you know, even through this entire year with trade wars and all of that shit, we still pretty much depend on them for our manufacturing base. Like, essentially, right? The trade war against China was an utter failure of the highest degree. We've basically lost, you know, millions of jobs because of that, right? We haven't really done much to move our manufacturing base back to the United States. We never will, because it's too expensive. It's too expensive, right? The cost could be brought down with investment, and you could still pay, you know, because people say, well, the wages are too high in the United States. Well, you could still conceivably make it competitive and still pay the kinds of wages that we pay in the United States. You know, the minimum wage at least, right? You still could do that, but it would take lots of investment. It would take lots of investment and automation and all this other shit. And it's just much cheaper to go to China and have all your cheap plastic shit made there and shipped over here. Even with the tariff, right? So, you know, we really haven't done, you know, even like all this trade war shit, you know, it's had very little effect. And China basically won the trade war. You know, the shit's over. And I hope that's one of the first things that fucking Biden does when he comes in, is ease up on some of that shit. Right? So that we can get some fucking jobs back. So that, like, some of those farmers can start selling their soybeans again. Shit like that. Selling their produce, you know. Like, you know, there's trade fucking relationships that have taken years and years to develop, just gone, you know. And this is all stuff, this all happened even before the economic turndown, before COVID, right? Like, people in the Midwest are fucking hurting. I mean, that's another reason why Donald Trump lost the fucking election, right? Because, like, you know, the Farm Belt didn't support him the same way they did in 2016, because his fucking stupid populist fuckery screwed up their fucking export. Like, right? Would you vote for him? Would you vote for a guy who single-handedly, like, ruined your business? You know? Seriously. And then you wonder why you wonder why fucking Georgia, like, went blue this year. You know? How many farmers are in Georgia? A shitload. So, anyway. Yeah, I don't think, getting back to that, I don't think there'll ever be a war with China because we're too economically, you know, intertwined with them, right? It would have to, shit would really have to hit the fan first before there was an actual war with China. There would have to be some serious fuck ups, some serious blunders before that actually happened. So anyway, what else we got here? What else? 1911. If they had any sense the majority of the files should have been encrypted anyway, it would just depend on which files were actively accessed with credentials. We're talking about spies in the Capitol building. Well, yes. Yes, they should, but, you know, does that mean they were? You know, we got to remember this is the government we're talking about, right? Contrary to popular belief, the government does not all have access to the super high-tech shit that everybody thinks they have, right? Maybe the Pentagon does, maybe the NSA does, but a congressman in their, you know, office, a representative in their office, they're using the same shit we're using. Okay? They're using the same type of laptops, same type of PCs, you know. That's all sort of, you know, that's science fiction when you see the movie where they walk into the secure room that's the door that's 3 feet thick and like fucking, you know, they're taking retinal scans and all that stuff. Yeah, okay, that stuff does exist, right? And maybe they've got it in the Pentagon or whatever, but, you know, the average government worker is just using a normal PC, right? And yeah, sensitive materials should be encrypted, but, you know, if you steal the entire laptop, right, then there you go. You can, you know, you can get your fucking, your crypto security guys trying to fucking break that shit. And it's on the laptop right there. You don't have to worry about, you know, hacking into any servers or any crap like that. You know what I mean? You could brute force it or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do have security. I'm sure they do use, you know, encryption. You know, I'm not an expert when it comes to that stuff, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. You know, but I'm just saying that it's like I wouldn't, you know, don't expect them to have all, you know, have all this James Bond shit just on like the laptop of a congressional staffer. Right? It's not going to be there, man. So anyway, Sean Nillabutt, whoever has been in charge of monitoring Trump at Twitter must be finally loving their job. Yeah, well, hopefully that person didn't get laid off after this. It's like, oh, you have the very important as your Trump's you know, watchdog. Nope, we finally banned Trump. Clean out your desk. Yeah, I hope that didn't happen. I hope they at least gave that guy another job or something. Okay, 1911. If people were legitimately advocating for violence, regardless of scale, then it would have been punishable by law. It is punishable by law, and they were legitimately advocating for violence. Okay, you don't, you know, I don't know. I mean, maybe we need to do that. Maybe I should go into Parler before it gets banned completely. Grab a bunch of screenshots of people fucking making threats and stuff like that. That's the whole reason why Parler is basically getting, you know, getting threatened with being delisted. I heard they were delisted, but you're saying they weren't. I don't know. Maybe they decided not to delist them, and you know, since I last checked. But that's the whole reason why. It's because people keep making death threats on that. You know, they keep threatening violence. They keep threatening to fucking revolt. They keep threatening politicians by name, shit like that. And this is why Google's cracking down on them, and Apple are cracking down on them. So, yes, that is against the law. It is against the law to, you know, and that's what these people were fucking doing at this place. Right? So, yes, they are going to be punished by law. And we're going to see lots of people, you know, the FBI is knocking on a lot of people's doors now because of what happened last fucking Wednesday. So, let's see. Lantern Light. There is something to be said about a corporate censorship and their place in our lives, but excuse me, kicking racists off the platform is not an example of that. Not an example of corporate censorship? Yes. I agree. Well, I mean, in the most, it is in the most, I guess, academic of definitions, right? Um, if you want to say that corporate censorship is a corporation censoring things on their platform, then yeah, it is corporate censorship. But it's something that, an example of what, it's moderation, basically. Like, if you want to say that moderation, like if you're if you're a mod of a forum or something like that, mod of a subreddit, if you want to say that a mod that goes through and enforces the rules is censorship, then technically you could say it's censorship, right? But most people agree that we need to have rules like that. For example, you're not allowed to post things that damage people. You're not allowed to post things like child pornography, revenge porn. You're not allowed to dox people, right? That kind of thing. And that's threats. Threats fall under that umbrella, right? Go to any forum, go to any subreddit, on Reddit, go to Twitter, Facebook, whatever. These are all things that they all enforce these rules. You're not allowed to dox people. You're not allowed to, advocate for violence, right? You're not allowed to, fucking, you're not allowed to harass people, that kind of thing, right? You're not allowed to post certain material that's like against the law, shit like that. Nobody with any sense of decency or intelligence is going to turn around and say that these are not, legitimate things that people should be silenced for, right? And it's like, so yeah, and why? It's not, is it the government forcing people to do this? Well, in some instances, yes. For example, things like child porn, it's against the law to post child porn, right? But, threats against people, violent racist rhetoric, stuff like that, not necessarily against the law, in some places, maybe threats are against the law in some places, but in other places not. It's the company themselves deciding we don't want this type of content on our platform. And I would be hard. I'd be hard pressed to try to find someone who would actually legitimately like defend that shit. A company has a right to not allow whatever kind of content they want on their platform. It doesn't matter, It's their fucking company. It's their platform. They can put what they want on it, right? And just like Parler, if Parler wants to allow people to have that kind of speech, go ahead. That's their thing. As long as those people are not breaking the law by actually threatening people, but if they want to have that violent rhetoric on there, if they want to allow that, that's their prerogative, right? But that also means that Google and Apple and everybody else has a right to not allow them to be on their fucking on their web stores, right? They have that right, Now there can be instances where that gets cloudy. What if Google decided to just delist them completely, saying, okay, if you go to the Google search engine and you search for Parler, nothing comes up, right? Does that take it too far? Well, Google's actually done that to some white supremacist websites, right? They've done it to things like, like the Aryan Nations homepage, shit like that. And the reason why is because those people were advocating violence, So is that Google's right? Does Google have a right to just completely isolate a web page for somebody? Does that interfere with their free speech rights? At what point does that go too far? Well, I don't think so. What if there was a website where a guy was stomping on mice, right? That used to be a thing back in the day, the squish websites, right? When the internet first became prevalent back in the 90s, right? And people first got access to the internet through things like CompuServe, shit like that. Like, lots of weird-ass, bizarre porn started showing up on the internet. And because none of this shit was illegal yet. So you got things like bestiality sites. You got stuff like, and they would be hosted in, like, countries like fucking Bahrain, right? Or like, you know, Afghanistan, right? They'd be hosted in these countries where there was no law against it, right? And so you could go and you could get things like squish videos, you know, videos of people fucking like torturing animals, and even worse, stuff that I don't want to talk about, right? And shit like that nowadays is relegated to the dark web because search engines like Google and, you know, Bing and whatever, you know, whatever other search engines there are, like, they won't even list those guys. You can't even find shit like that now if you go through legitimate search engines. It's like, well, you know, is that them censoring those guys? Is that corporate censorship right there? I mean, technically, yes, right? So does that, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, there's a place for it. You know, there's a place for, and there's, you know, there's a good reason and there's a bad reason. What if Google decided to say, okay, from now on we're going to delist any website hosted by Yahoo? What if they decided to do that? That might be a little too far. They might even be a court case against that. Hey, you guys have a, you know, monopoly share of the search engine, you know, out there or something. You have more than a 50% share, and by you not listing your competitor, that counts as a monopoly illegal action or some shit, right? So there's differences there, you know? It's like, it's not all just about, like, this greedy ass company trying to make money. You know, sometimes it's like, you know, trying to prevent access to material that harms people or is harmful. And I don't think anybody out there, you know, would object to Google taking actions like that to stop, you know, access to sites that post material that actually harms people, right? I don't know. Let's see. We're at 2 hours and 30. Okay, I gotta get going, guys. I have to go sign in and you know, kill orcs and trolls and shit for a little while. Let's see where we're at here. We're looking pretty good with our drawing. We're about halfway done. You know, I think it's coming along pretty well. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any comments or whatever. Thank you all guys all for joining me today. I see there's a lot of people today, which is great. You know, fantastic. Thank you, Sean, for coming all the time. Thank you, Lewis the Hedgehog. Booyah Amadon, you're awesome. Lantern Light, thank you for joining. 1911, greater than all, thank you for coming back. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you. Naked Dynacat, you're really cool. Technological, actually, hey, you're a new guy. Haven't seen you around. Thank you for joining, man. Who else we got in here? Is that everybody? I think that's pretty much everybody. If I didn't see you there, sorry, but you know, thank you. Oh, there's another one. Oh wait, what just happened? Somebody just commented and it screwed me up. I thought I saw another new name here that I hadn't recognized. Braille and Annie's. Awesome drawing, you are talented. Oh, thank you. Brilliant. Well, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Thank you for the compliment. You guys are the best. I really appreciate all of this for you, you know. Technological, actually. Oh, okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to disgender you there. But thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. You guys are great. And I'm going to go ahead and end this because, yeah, I have to go play video games now. So, let's just do my ending speech here. And I'll just show you my my social media and my stuff. Am I signed out of Etsy here? Oh, crap. Hang on a second. There we go. And I'll just show you my UCD videos. That one, and then also my webcomic. And I keep saying that I'm going to stop being lazy and just, you know, make an ending video that displays all of this shit. And I will eventually. I just got stuff to do, sorry. So, if you like me and you want to see more of my artwork, I have here, this is my DeviantArt website here that has a bunch of my artwork. I have mainly comics on here for now, but I have lots of other stuff here, you know, other types of artwork if you want to see more. Like, if you like more of the stuff I'm drawing, I have an entire gallery filled with all these different, like, weird hideous demons and things like that. You know, some of them are a little older, but, you know, anyway, if you like what I do and you want to see more, you can please check me out on, you know, Hwanja.com, DeviantArt. I'll put a link to it down in the thing. If you want to own some of this, I have an Etsy shop. This is my Etsy shop. I sell prints of these things for 15 bucks each. This one is a Lovecraft character. These are all 11 by 17 prints. I use coffee and stain them all by hand so that they all, it kind of looks like leather when I'm done with it, you know? And I have a bunch of different characters. I have some Godzilla characters. This one is from a Kevin Smith movie. I don't know if you've ever seen Dogma. This is the Golgothan from Dogma, the shit demon. Right, and then a couple of them, this one's my own design. I made this one up. Right, so if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something. I'll put this in the link to at the bottom as well. This is my webcomic. It's about ninjas and, you know, kung fu and stuff like that. Lots of funny violence, that kind of thing. Anyway, it's Hwanja.com, fun for the whole stupid family. Please come check me out. And if you want to see me talk about toys and video games and movies, check me out on UCD Videos. This is my other channel. I do toy reviews, I do video game live streams, I talk about strange video game handheld stuff and hardware. So yeah, if you want to see me talk about some non-political content, please check me out there. And guys, thank you all so much for joining. You guys are the best. I love you all. You're great. And I think maybe our next one might be in the middle of next week. Depends on what happens. Depends if there's a lot of news. And if a lot of shit goes down, then we might have to have another stream, probably on Wednesday. And if not on Wednesday, it'll be on Saturday at 11. I think I'm going to make this my weekly time, Saturday at 11.